What's going on, everybody? I'm Tristan Bunn. Before we get started, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. We've got football content covering the NFL, even some college throughout the entire season. Videos coming at you all week long, every week through the season. Subscribe, like the video, follow the channel. All right, well, it's that time of the season. Kickoff is around the corner. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys getting ready to start the 2025 NFL season. But before we get there, it is a rite of passage. If you own a YouTube channel covering the NFL, any kind of sports channel, you have to give your predictions. Do I like it? Not really. Do I want to do this? Not particularly. But those are the rules. I don't make them up. I kind of do. It's my channel. Here we go. My predictions. As always, you are welcome to mock me, call me an idiot, because I am, but you have to give me your predictions too. You can't just sit there, make fun of all mine, and not put yours up for me to see. All right, here we go. Each division, doing this the old-fashioned way. Notebook, piece of paper. It's the best way I know how. Starting with the AFC East, perhaps the easiest division for me. I've got the Jets in last place, the Dolphins in third place, the Patriots in second place, making the playoffs, and the Bills winning the division as usual, also making the playoffs. There is no reason to pick anyone other than the Bills. No team has gotten far superior for you to believe that they can overtake Josh Allen. Yes, Buffalo has their issues in the postseason, particularly when it comes to one team, Kansas City. Otherwise, they're spectacular. There's only one team you think Buffalo can't beat in the postseason. It's Kansas City. If it's anyone else, we're all picking Buffalo. Last year was supposed to be a rebuilding year. Everyone was lower on them. And they come through, knock out Baltimore in the playoffs, take Kansas City down to the wire. The Bills are going to run away with the division, be a top 4 seed. I do think the Patriots squeeze into the playoffs because I think the addition of Mike Vrabel is going to ignite that organization in ways that really can't be overstated. When you go from a terrible head coach as Gerard Mayo, someone who has no business being a head coach in the National Football League, to Mike Vrabel. And look, I've been a critic of Mike Vrabel in the past. I've even called him overrated at times. But the man had the Tennessee Titans as the number 1 seed at one point in the NFL playoffs. I like what we saw from Drake May last year. I think he's just going to be elevated. The Stephon Diggs thing seems to be working. Will Campbell, good draft pick. See if they've been able to address the line. How does the secondary look? A lot of questions around the Patriots, but I know one thing. They're going to be a solid organization. They're going to be a physical football team, and they're going to be in a lot of football games. You put all that together on top of the fact that they have a pretty easy schedule. I think they find themselves sneaking into the playoffs as a 6 or 7 seed. All right, the AFC West, maybe the easiest one to pick. In last place, I've got the Raiders. I do think they will be improved with Pete Carroll, with Geno Smith. I don't love the defense. Obviously, that's going to be a problem. But Geno Smith and Pete Carroll alone should elevate them. Again, you get a real head football coach. You get a competent quarterback in there. I think Geno is a solid quarterback. Yes, he has his limitations. Yes, we kind of know what he is at this point, but the Raiders will take that. They're just wanting to lay the foundation for the future, and this is a smart way to do it. I think they're going to be improved, but they still are in a really tough division. Third place, I have the Chargers, and I don't have them making the playoffs. Maybe we will look back at the end of the season and see that I put too much weight in the Rashawn Slater injury. That's very possible. I would have had them as a playoff team, but that injury really, really scares me. It shouldn't, because we know Harbaugh's a great coach. Even though Herbert imploded in the playoff game, I think Harbaugh will manage him. But we really want to see Herbert unlock to that next level. Do they have what it takes to defeat these other AFC teams and should have the firepower to compete on offense? We know they want to run the football with Amari and Hampton, Najee Harris, but that whole thing's kind of up in the air right now. Will they move Joe Alt to the left tackle? If so, what does that mean at the right? Do they kick the guard out? A lot of questions on the offensive line. And considering it's a Harbaugh team that wants to be physical, wants to punch you in the mouth, drain the clock, wear you down that way, they're still going to be good. They could still make the playoffs, but I'm staying away for now because that injury really does concern me. In second place in the AFC West and making the playoffs, I do have the Denver Broncos, but pump the brakes because everyone else is really high on the Broncos. I'm a lot lower than everyone else. I do think they're going to be solid, but I think their schedule is going to be a lot tougher than it was last year. They're going to have to play some nasty competition. Can Bo Nix take another leap? Can Sean Payton continue to unlock him? You add RJ Harvey as the running back, fantasy guys, everybody's excited about him. How is Nick's able to elevate that offense? Are they able to take another step up and continue to develop and become more dynamic? Everyone's raving about the defense. The defense was really good last year, supposed to be better this year. Everyone that went to a Broncos training camp left talking about how great they were. I believe it. I think they will be good, but I think they're going to be at the bottom of the AFC playoff picture. I don't think they're going to compete with the big dogs. And of course, the easiest pick of all of these, the Kansas City Chiefs, again, win the AFC West, make the playoffs as a 1 or 2 seed, 3 at the worst. I can see things being a little bumpy for the Chiefs this year as they figure things out with the offense. But assuming they get their offense at full power, I think we will see the Kansas City we expected to see last year. Everyone forgets the injuries that happened. They didn't have Rashee Rice almost all year. They didn't have Hollywood Brown basically the whole year. It was a makeshift offense that they had to get by with. And oh yeah, they made it to the Super Bowl. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to remind everyone why he's the best player in the league. I think he's heard the talk about the stats being low and him not throwing and living up to his potential. I believe Kansas City comes out and makes a statement. Are they going to go on an incredible run, look unbeatable? I don't think so, but I think they're going to surprise the doubters. And obviously, until proven otherwise, I have to pick them to win the AFC West. Let's look at the AFC North. In last place, I have the Cleveland Browns. Not much to say about them. I think they're kind of a joke organization. The quarterback situation is a complete disaster. Flacco's your starter. Then you have Gabriel and Sanders. The whole franchise is a mess. Moving on for the next couple of years. In third place, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is the year. I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs. I have them out. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to elevate this offense at all. I think they're going to be similar to what they were last year. And would it shock me if they won 9 or 10 games and squeezed into the 7th seed and then got blown out in the first round of the playoffs? No, because that's what Mike Tomlin does. But eventually it has to end. I think this is the year. Pittsburgh Steelers, probably 8 wins, maybe 9 max. I just don't see them making the playoffs. If they do, congratulations, they'll get blown out in the first round. I went back and forth on this one. Second place, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I do think they make the playoffs. The defense, I'm worried it's going to be a disaster. They're probably going to play a lot of man. Can their personnel hold up? Probably not. I doubt it. Looking at the Bengals, you've got to hope that if the defense stays the same, Joe Burrow's got to have another MVP caliber season and a little bit better to make the playoffs. Can they not stumble right out of the gate? Can they not lose to the Patriots in week 1 like last year? Can they just kind of keep the wheels on it and let Burrow do his magic? We'll see. I am skeptical, but when I look at the AFC playoff picture, I'm going to put more faith in Joe Burrow than some of these other teams. So I think they find a way to sneak into the playoffs off of the arm of Joe Burrow. Winning the division, the AFC North, no surprise, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has just been on fire the past couple seasons. I think we're going to see more of the same. The definition of a well-run franchise, a well-run organization, owner, head coach, quarterback, coordinators. What they do in the playoffs is a separate story, but right now we're just predicting the regular season. I think they're going to win the division, walking away, and are going to be in another really good position come January. Will they be able to capitalize on it at that time? Remains to be seen. The AFC South. In last place, I've got the Tennessee Titans. I do like what I see from Cam Ward, and I do think they're going to be frisky. I think this is a building year. We'll see, but Cam Ward looks promising. Still last place. Third place, the Colts. I like Shane Steichen. He seems to get the most out of his guys. But when you're rocking with Daniel Jones, that's going to be an issue. Maybe they get 7 wins. I would be surprised if they get much more than that. Until the quarterback situation is solved, how can you have a lot of faith in Indianapolis? Unfortunately. Second place, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think they improve under Liam Cohen. Is Trevor Lawrence going to be the prospect everyone thought he would be? It's now or never. This is really a make or break year for Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be better. I don't think he's going to be good enough. Anyone who's watched this channel before knows I've picked the Jaguars before. I've been burned. I'm staying clear. Be happy to be proven wrong, but I cannot touch the Jaguars until proven otherwise. Winning the division, it's chalk. I hate it, but I just can't trust any of these other teams. Give me the Houston Texans to win the division. I'm really worried about the offensive line. That was the unit they needed to address the most, and they kind of disregarded it and almost did a 180 of what you expected, trading off Tunsil. I just know he had a lot of penalties, know he was an issue, but confusing decisions in Houston. But when you've got a quarterback and you've got a head coach, considering you can trust both of those guys, you can trust the head coach, you can trust the quarterback, that's enough for me. Reports are they're going to be giving more of the offense over to CJ Stroud. I love that. That's what you like to see. And I think that's going to be enough to get them to win the AFC South. So in the AFC, in no particular order, I have Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Texans as your division winners. And the 3 wild card spots, I have the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Bengals. That's my AFC predictions. All right, the predictions continue. Let's roll into the NFC and start with the NFC East. This was kind of the most difficult one for me to predict, and I'm even changing it up right now. The bottom 2 have been the same. Last place, I'm going with the New York Giants. I could see these last 2 teams flipping, but ultimately I think the Dallas Cowboys, who I have finishing in 3rd place, I think Dak Prescott being healthy and playing the whole season is just enough to get them some wins. We like to be a little hard on Dak. I know we can all do that, especially giving his lack of playoff success and even taking it a step farther and saying he just shits the bed in the playoffs, which is absolutely a fact, but it's not always on him. He missed a lot of games last year. Mike McCarthy still had them, relevant, more wins than they should have. You downgrade at head coach, but having Dak Prescott there throughout the whole season upgrades you at quarterback. Bringing in George Pickens should help. The defense is going to be a disaster. I think they both missed the playoffs, but I do have the Cowboys above the Giants. Even though I like Jackson Dart, sooner he starts, I think the better for that organization. 2nd place in the NFC East. I went back and forth on this. I'm going with the Washington Commanders. I almost picked them to win this division, but the sophomore slump for the quarterbacks, it's been something we've seen a couple times recently. They caught magic in a bottle. People were kind of sleeping on them. That's not going to be the case this year. Is Jaden Daniels going to be able to match that level of performance or even get better? He had the greatest rookie season we've seen from a quarterback. I do think they've beefed up their offensive line. Adding Deebo Samuel, working out the Terry McLaurin contract was huge because I think he is a vital piece of their offense. You can't overstate how important he is. But bringing in Deebo, who I've always viewed as kind of a gadget player, is good. A gadget player could help them. We'll see. They traded Brian Robinson. How does the defense look? That's the big question to me. A lot of eyes on the Commanders. I do have them making the playoffs, but I think they finished 2nd in the division. And back-to-back years, for the first time in 20 years, I think, I'm going to have a team repeating and winning the NFC East back-to-back. I do think the Eagles win this division. I went back and forth on it when I wrote my predictions down. I originally picked Commanders to win it, but I think the Eagles are just a solid team. I think they're at the peak of their powers. Howie Roseman has proven he is the best GM in the league, and he's just providing Nick Sirianni with a stacked roster year after year. Am I a little concerned about the loss of coordinator Kellen Moore going to the Saints? Yes, because last time that happened, it was a disaster, but I've got to believe that they've got a cohesive unit and a tight structure that they won't let that happen again. I do think the Philadelphia Eagles win the NFC East. Them and the Commanders are playoff teams. Next up, the NFC West. In last place, I've got the Arizona Cardinals. I do think they're going to be a frisky team. I think maybe they even improve on the season they had last year. But ultimately, Kyler Murray is good for a couple months and he falls off in December. I've got to see more from them to really believe. I still think they're a young roster. I think they need help defensively. Turns out, looks like Gannon's a good coach, but we'll see if I can start to take them seriously. But I'm going to need to see them perform more consistently before I start, etching them in a playoff spot. In 3rd place in the NFC West, and maybe a controversial decision, I have the San Francisco 49ers, and I have them missing the playoffs. They're basically rebuilding. Kyle Shanahan has talked about it. He's kind of like lowering expectations. He's talked about this feels like 2019 or whatever when they were reloading the roster. Shanahan has talked about the fact that this is going to be a team with a lot of youth. They need a lot of young guys to come in and be very talented and capable immediately. What are the odds of that happening? Also, injuries have been an issue that have plagued the 49ers for years, decades, it seems like. They always have bad luck with the injury bug. And last year, we saw kind of the limitations of Brock Purdy. I like Brock Purdy. I'm not a Brock Purdy hater, but I'm not going to inflate him as well. When he has some of the best talent in the league around him and one of the best play callers, yeah, he looks amazing. When you take all of that talent away and he has to work with, subpar ingredients, he looks more like an average, mid to later quarterback. And I think that's what we're going to see this year. What can Ricky Pearsall be? I like him. It seems like he's going to get the majority of the targets. He's one of their only reliable wide receivers. And a lot of the season really comes down to Christian McCaffrey and his health. Is McCaffrey going to be able to play the full season? Because when he does, when McCaffrey is healthy, he's the best back in the league. And when he's not, he's completely irrelevant, as is the team. I think they look better than last year, but I don't think they're a playoff team. Second, in the NFC West, I've got the Los Angeles Rams. And if it wasn't for the Matthew Stafford back thing, I would have had them winning the division. Anyone that's watched me before knows I really love the Rams. I love Matt Stafford. I love Sean McVay. I'm just worried about the back issue. I'm worried about the age and the injuries lingering. How long can Stafford keep it up? How long can he escape father time? So I'm keeping my eye on them. I love what they're doing on the defense. I mean, they were the only team that really challenged Philadelphia in the playoffs last year. If Stafford is capable and he is playing, they're going to be a team to deal with, but I've got them second. First in the NFC West, give me the Seattle Seahawks, and obviously making the playoffs. Do I think the Seahawks are a team that's going to go on a deep playoff run and knock off a bunch of people? No, but I can see them having a solid regular season. They've got a good coach. They're starting to build that defense. You brought in Sam Darnold. I think they're going to be a team no one really enjoys playing. I think they're going to be overlooked, and I think they're going to find a way into the playoffs and somehow winning that division because of the dysfunction in the youth at the 49ers, at the Rams. It's almost like all the issues in the division, they're the team that I see having the least duct tape patchwork. So I'm going to take them to win it. I will probably regret doing that. In the NFC North, last place, I've got the Minnesota Vikings. I was a big J.J. McCarthy fan coming out of college. I really liked him. The injury, the losing the weight, the missing the whole year, that has kind of derailed how I feel about him. I still want to believe. I'm like, the X-Files. I really want to believe that J.J. McCarthy is out there in the universe. And I hope we see him. But the setback from the injury really worries me. Kevin O'Connell, he has proven that he can get the most out of quarterbacks and he can really elevate them and elevate their play style. We'll see. But until I, see it come together, the rookie quarterback, essentially, I'm just worried about that situation. I think they'll be a good football team. I don't know if they're a playoff team. In third place, the Chicago Bears. I think they improve, but I do not have them making the playoffs. I'm just not sold on Caleb Williams yet. What can Ben Johnson do? Being a coordinator is a lot different than being a head coach. Is he going to be able to harness that raw talent of Caleb Williams, but also have him play within the offense? Because one of the issues regarding Caleb Williams for me is that he's always been so athletic, kind of what we saw with Shedeur Sanders in the preseason. He thinks he can escape situations that he can't. Can Ben Johnson dial him in, have him conduct the offense like a true NFL quarterback? If so, sky's the limit. I'm going to say this is a development year. They're good, but they missed the playoffs. Next two teams are in. In second place, I've got the Detroit Lions. The coordinator issue, I do think, hits them a little. I think losing Ben Johnson, I think losing Aaron Glenn rears its head in some aspects. But with that said, they had so many defensive injuries last year. Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to be back. He's going to be a force to reckon with. Just the health alone should make that defense better. And with that defense elevating, I think it should be able to manage any downgrade you see in the offense. I think they should balance each other out. Detroit's going to be a team to deal with in December and January. Winning the division, a team I just can't quit, the Green Bay Packers. I don't know why. I just can't get over them. Maybe I'll regret it because Jordan Love is a roller coaster ride. He's up and down. But for me, it comes down to Matt LaFleur. I trust him. I trust what he gets out of this franchise year after year. What does the defense look like? Can they elevate and be a real Super Bowl contender as a defense? That remains to be seen, but I'm riding with Green Bay until the wheels fall off. In the NFC South, last place, the Saints. Not much to talk about. They're finally paying the bill. Third place, the Panthers. Feisty. I think they're going to be a team that a lot of people don't look forward to playing. I could see them even finishing second in this division, but I'm not quite bold enough to go there. Bryce Young started to actually look good at the end of last year. He looked like an NFL quarterback. I like the coach. I think I like what they've got going on down there. I just don't know if the roster's there yet. So they're in third place. Second place, I've got the Falcons. Michael Penix, I don't know what to expect yet. Sometimes I watch him and I'm really impressed, and sometimes I watch him and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a train wreck. Complete question mark on the Atlanta Falcons. Ultimately, I'm from Alabama. I've been close and seen the Atlanta Falcons organization operate my entire life. They are a dysfunctional franchise by nature. They are. Look at the way they handled the Kirk Cousins situation and the Michael Penix thing. No organization that really has their ducks in a row would have made those decisions. Because of that, ultimately, that dysfunction is going to bite them. I can't predict them to, be something other than what they have been for the past 20 years. Winning the division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A little worried about the defense, but I think it will be good enough with Todd Bowles. Baker Mayfield is having a career renaissance. Adding Egbuka, I think, is going to be one of the big moves of the draft, even though we all kind of questioned a wide receiver. It seems like he's going to make a big impact and a big impact early on. Watch out for Tampa Bay. They just are one of those teams that keeps winning the division, keeps winning playoff games, and people keep forgetting about them. I really like them this season, as you're going to see. Here we go. AFC, NFC championship predictions, Super Bowl predictions. Feel free to mock me, but you have to give me yours. You don't get to not put out predictions, then make fun of me. It's a two-way street. We're in this together. Let's laugh, okay? We got to do it at the same time, though. Don't leave me hanging here. In the AFC, I've got Buffalo defeating Kansas City. I wanted to keep Kansas City out of the AFC championship, but I just can't find a team I trust more than them right now. The Ravens, okay, but it just seems like year after year is the same things with the Ravens in the playoffs. So I'm just off of that bandwagon until I see something happen. And ultimately, look, I'm a Chiefs fan. Understood. Anyone who has watched me and watched this channel knows I am genuinely unbiased. I want everybody to be good. I just root for storylines. I root for interesting things to happen within the football season. I will tell you when I think the Chiefs are bad. I will tell you when I think they're good. I'm just going to shoot you straight and give you my honest opinion, as close to unbiased as possible. I'm laying my cards on the table. You know who I root for. However, I just don't see a team that's going to be better than them, that can get into that spot. Would it shock me if Kansas City gets knocked off in the divisional round? It would not. I would not be shocked at all. I thought that's what I was going to predict, but I don't feel confident enough in the other teams to get there. With Buffalo, the AFC is just kind of like up in the air between those three quarterbacks. It's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. And then you've got Joe Burrow, who's battling his franchise and his defense along the way. Someone has to slay the dragon eventually. Surely Josh Allen's not going to be 0-5 in playoff games against Patrick Mahomes. Surely that can't happen, right? For some reason, I'm saying it's their year. I'm saying Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl. In the NFC Championship, I've got Tampa Bay defeating the Lions. Despite losing the coordinators, I think the Lions get back. Eagles fans, I love the team. Getting back-to-back championship games and Super Bowls is very difficult. I think they probably get knocked off by Tampa in the divisional, something like that. I think the Lions make it to an NFC championship game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we've seen that the Bucs have kind of been their kryptonite. They play them very tough. They know how to play them. They know how to beat Detroit. I think Tampa Bay gets it done. For the Super Bowl, I am going Buffalo Bills to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh Allen versus Baker Mayfield in the Super Bowl, a close game, and Buffalo gets it done. Josh Allen finally hoists the Lombardi and puts himself where he truly deserves in conversation of some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Will all of that happen? Highly unlikely, but that's my pick. That's where I am staking my claim, because if you start a YouTube channel talking about football, number one rule, you have to make predictions before the season starts. Sorry. When you start a YouTube channel, they send you something in the mail. They're like, hey, congratulations. Good luck getting subscribers. You got to make predictions. So there it is. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Tristan Bunn, I'm here. I will be talking football all season long, all week, every week. talking about all the biggest storylines, reacting to games, previewing games, everything that happens throughout the NFL season, even sprinkling in some college football along the way. In the comments, give me your predictions for the season. Who do you think is going to win each division? Who do you have in the Super Bowl? Who do you have winning it all? I love to see it. Anybody there, I'll be talking to you along the way. It's here, baby. Fall is in the air and football is upon us. Enjoy college football this weekend. Get ready for pro next weekend. I'll have more videos coming before Philadelphia and Dallas kicks off. See you then.